My name is Yvonne Bird. I'm an instructor in health and exercise sciences at Truman, and this is my third year teaching JBA. The first week of my class, the Human Laboratory, we usually spend on the musculoskeletal system. We talk a lot about the bones, the muscles, what movements the joints make, what are the joints, and how do we make those movements, how does our muscle contract, how does all of that work together. And so part of that is a trip to the Cadaver Lab. So we go over to A.T. Still University and we're able to actually go in, and the students are able to put gloves on and they can touch the cadavers, they can explore the different body parts and learn the names we've been learning of the muscles and the bones, and they can actually look on the cadavers and find them. They're able to explore hearts and lungs and see diseased lung versus a healthy lung. They're able to look at the brain. We have a brain they can look at, and a dissected spinal cord that they are able to see. So they're able to see a lot of things at the Cadaver Lab that we've been talking about in class that they can actually put hands-on experience to see. Other things that we do, we also take a trip to A.T. Still University's museum, and it is the museum that talks about the history of osteopathic medicine, and they have one of 4 dissected nervous systems in the whole world. And so the students are able to see that, and that was done by 2 osteopathic physicians that did that. So that was really exciting to see. They also get to learn about the herb garden that's there at the museum and how the body can do a lot of natural healing, that we don't necessarily need all kinds of medications, that there are some natural remedies out there that may work for us to heal our bodies. We also got to see the Human Simulator Lab, where they have mannequins that they can use for the medical students, and they can program them with certain illnesses or diseases, and then the medical students have to problem solve and figure out what's going on, and they can take their blood pressure, they can intubate them, they can use IVs, they can check their pulse. I mean, there's all kinds of different things they can do, and so if something happens to the mannequin, they just reset it, and the students are learning the process of working with the patient in that way. So the students were very fascinated by being able to see the Human Simulator Lab. Other things that we do, we get to go to the farmer's market and we talk about looking at the foods and that they have there and why they might be better choices than foods that we might get at a regular grocery store. And we also get to do a research project. That's probably one of the other biggest highlights of the class, is the students get to pick a topic related to movement, and they get to start finding the question, what are they interested in, what's it all about, and in groups they collect the data, they have to analyze the data, and then they will do both an oral presentation, and then they will have posters available at the closing ceremony for parents and other students to see what their hard work has been over the course of the 3 weeks. So that's probably the other biggest highlight of what they do. I also like to make it a little broader in that we bring in some history of movement. We talk about the psychology of movement. We talk about the sociological aspects of movement as well, and how that has affected our culture, and sports, how they affect our culture to some extent. One of the newest things I added was this year the students got to go to the rock climbing wall, and the ROTC department on campus was able to help us with that. And we spent a morning out in the rain on the rock climbing wall, and if the students got to the top, they got a prize. And so that was very exciting for the students. So that was one of the newest things that I've added. For many of them that want to be physicians or work in the medical field, it's very pertinent to what they want to do, and it can inspire them to be excited more about their career. For many of them, that's what it is. There's a few that aren't sure what they want to do, but there are many that they have specifics. They want to be a trauma doctor or a pediatric oncologist, or they have specific ideas of what they want to do, maybe a physical therapist. And so I think that's one of the reasons they chose the class, is because they have that interest. But some of them I know are already changing their mind based on things they've learned. I hope the students will apply what they learn to their everyday life. We talk a lot about the body, and we talk about nutrition, for example, and movement. They get a pedometer. That's something else I hadn't mentioned yet, is that they get a pedometer to wear every day, and they keep track of their steps every day at JBA. And so I encourage them, once they leave JBA, to keep wearing their pedometer, and how many steps are they getting? Are they getting 10,000 steps a day? So I hope they're applying it in that way. When we talk about nutrition and fast food, and do they really need to be eating that fast food as often as they do, or drinking all the soda that they drink? And are there healthier choices for them? What are some of those choices that they can make and still be happy with their choices and enjoy them, but maybe just have healthier choices that they're making? Those are probably the two biggest things. I know I would also like them to apply maybe for their career. You know, are they interested in something that we talked about, and they can apply that to what they want to do in their life. One other activity that we do is we build a spine, and the students have to work together to do that. So each student is able to, or I'm assign each student a vertebrae, and so they have to make their specific vertebrae, whether it's a cervical, thoracic, or lumbar, and then we make vertebral discs and we put it all together so we have a spine at the end, and that will be on display at the closing ceremony also. So I know that they're all really excited to show their parents which vertebrae they made, because they all got one.